Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Sean's Joy. I hope you all are having an amazing day today. I wanted to come back and do another video for you guys. This video is going to be a little bit different than the other videos I've done in the past. This video is going to be a haul, but it's going to be a book haul. And I wanted to share with you guys just a few of the books I've purchased over the past month or so that I'm going to be reading over the next several weeks to come. And I don't know about you guys, but I love to read, but I especially love reading in the fall and winter time. I mean, what better way to spend your weekend curled up by the fire with a nice cozy blanket and some hot cocoa and reading a really good book. So I bought some books that I really think you guys would be interested in, and without further ado, let's just jump right in. Okay guys, so the first book is called The Life and Times of Michael A. And this book is written by Danielle Allen. I had no idea who Danielle Allen was prior to this book, but let me give you guys a little backstory. I actually found out about this book one day when I was driving home and I was listening to NPR, and I was actually listening to Fresh Air. I love that segment. I love that podcast. But anyway, Danielle Allen was giving an interview about her book, and she was talking about her cousin Michael A., who actually got locked up and sent to prison at a very early age in Los Angeles. And it talks about what he endured as a young black male in the prison system, in the jail system, and how it greatly affected him throughout his time in jail. It also talked about what he endured when he got out of jail. It's just a really, I haven't read it yet, but the interview is just so gut-wrenching that it made me want to run out and purchase the book. I mean, she talks about how he got locked up at a very young age for a misdemeanor, and this was back when California had the 3 strikes you're out. So she kind of talks about that, but then she also sheds a little light into who Michael was. Michael was, according to her, a very intelligent young man who was actually, while in jail, working on getting his GED and furthering his education. He was interested in writing poetry. He read Chaucer. He read other great literaries. He was just a really dynamic and positive person, and he endured a lot while he was in jail. And so, and I shouldn't say jail, while he was in the prison system. And it also talks about what he endured while in prison. He had to grow up, and so he encountered a lot. While in prison, he contracted HIV, according to her. When he got out of prison, he started working on himself and improving his life and trying to go back to school. He actually, according to her, I think enrolled in the community college, the local community college there, and got an apartment actually on a nice side of town in LA. But the haunts of his life in jail came rushing back to him. He kind of hooked up with his girlfriend, his transgender girlfriend, who he met in prison. And long story short, Michael ended up dying at the hands of his transgender girlfriend, and his body was found in a car abandoned somewhere in California. I don't quite remember all of the interview, but I remember the big chunks of it. But just to hear her story and to hear her talk about him and to hear her talk about how great of a person was and how he wanted to learn even though he was in prison, and how he really enjoyed great philosophers and great writers, and how he wrote poetry while he was in prison, and how his life just, I don't know, it just seems like this was a young man who didn't get a chance to really spread his wings and fly. And if you ever get an opportunity to hear her interview, I swear this interview was just, it was amazing, and it made me want to know more about Danielle Allen and just what she was about. She's actually a really intelligent black woman who has degrees from Harvard and Oxford. I might be mistaken, but I want to say she's a Rhodes Scholar as well, or maybe a MacArthur recipient. But this is just a really good book, and I will put the link below for you guys so that you can hear the interview, because it will touch your heart, I promise you. The next book is called They Both Die at the End. And this book is written by New York Times bestselling author Adam Silvera. I saw this book on Amazon.com, and I actually saw this book on the New York Times bestsellers list. And so that's usually it's usually like the guide that I use to purchase my books to determine if this is something that I want to read. If it's on the New York Times bestsellers list, then I'll probably purchase it, depending on what genre it is. But I really like this book. Well, I'm really interested in reading this book. This book is about two strangers who actually get an alert on their phone letting them know that today is the day that you're going to die. And so the two strangers go on this app that's created for people who get the alert on their phone letting them know that today is their final day. And it's an app that lets them sort of hook up and have great adventures for that one last time on Earth. I was a little shocked that there was an app, or not so much an app, let me take that back. I was shocked that this is what the premise of the book was about you get an alert on your phone letting you know, hey, today is the day that you're gonna die. Like, can you imagine living in a world like that, where you find out what, that your last day is going to be today? But then I was like, wow, that's kind of morbid. But then I was like, maybe not, because if you know that, okay, I have 24 hours to make amends with whoever I need to make amends with, to try some things that I've always wanted to try, to sort of complete those things that are on your bucket list. I mean, would it be helpful? Would it not be helpful? I don't know. But anyway, I am really interested in reading this book. My third book is called Pretty Powerful by Eboni Williams. I did not know who Eboni Williams was, but I actually was on YouTube, and I like to watch The Breakfast Club, and I saw that she was doing an interview on there. And I was listening to her interview, and I actually found what she was saying quite interesting. Eboni Williams is actually a Fox News contributor, and I had never really, let me say this, I really don't watch Fox News. I kind of flip through the channels every now and then. I might listen to what they have to say, but Fox News is really not my steez. But I found it interesting to see a black woman on Fox News that was a contributor, but she was more so a moderate. She wasn't really hardcore right, and I found that kind of refreshing, because how many times do you see that on Fox News? So I purchased her book. It's like 100 and let's see, I think it's 195 pages. So this is going to be like a really quick read. This is something that you can probably read over the course of a weekend or so. But it's more so a self-help book, I find. I'm actually reading this book now, and I look at it more so as a self-help, or a book that sort of kind of guides you on how to make things happen for yourself. She talks a lot in this book about your appearance, and not only your physical appearance and how you need to use it, but also how to use your brain. Use what God has for you. Have some substance behind being a pretty face or a pretty girl or something like that, and what you project is very important in the eyes of people. Hey guys, my fourth book is, ta-da! What Happened by Hillary Clinton. Yes, I know it probably seems cliche, but I had to get this book because I needed some answers. I needed to know what happened. No pun intended, but I really needed to know, like, Hillary, what went down? Like, what went down in the election? I know she's probably not going to go really in depth about just all the inside juicy things, but say what you want to about Hillary. I consider her a very strong woman, and I will put it like that, you know. And I was just really interested in reading what she had to say about the election and what were her views on the election and how did it make her feel to there's no other way to say it, but to lose such a major election on such a grand and public stage, on a worldwide stage where everybody saw it. And this election really affected a lot of people, whether they choose to admit it or not. So I kind of want to know what her point of view was, how she felt, what her family felt, and how she's handling it now. And I'm hoping that this book kind of gives some insight to what type of woman she is. I mean, say what you want. I think she's a very strong person, a very strong woman. I mean, she literally took a hit and kept on ticking. So, okay, you guys, that's it for all of the books that I'm going to be reading over the next several weeks. I am so looking forward to diving into these books and reading them and just curling up by the fire and reading a good book. I love this time of the year. I love just being at home and enjoying just that quiet time and just letting your mind just kind of go somewhere else. And all of that you get from reading a book because it kind of just takes you out of your element. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment below. I really enjoy your comments and reading them, and I try to respond back, so please leave a comment below. I hope you guys have an awesome day today, and don't forget to find your joy. Bye-bye.